Why does being a woman mean being tired all the time? Not tired from a long day, not tired from lack of sleep, but tired in a way that lives in your bones. Tired in a way that sleep doesn't fix. Tired in a way that makes you wonder if you'll ever feel rested again. You wake up already behind. The mental list starts before your feet hit the floor. Kids, work, errands, meals. Everyone's needs lined up like dominoes, and you're the one holding them all upright, and somewhere at the very end of that endless line, there's you. Maybe, if there's time, if there's energy left, if anyone remembers you exist beyond what you do for them. Have you ever gotten home, sat down for the first time all day, and realized your body is still tense? Like even when you stop moving, something inside you can't stop working. That's what being a woman feels like, a constant state of doing, of being needed, of being on. Even when you're exhausted, even when you're empty, even when you have nothing left to give, and the worst part, nobody sees it, nobody counts the invisible work you do every single day. The remembering, the planning, the managing, the caring, the mental load that runs like background software in your mind, draining your battery even when you're trying to rest. You remember everyone's appointments. You notice when the milk is running low. You see the pile of laundry growing. You know exactly who needs what and when. You're the operating system of your household, your family, your life. And when things run smoothly, nobody realizes you're doing anything at all. But when you're sick, when you're away, when you can't do it all for just one day, suddenly everyone sees. Suddenly the chaos reveals how much you were holding together. But instead of appreciation, you get complaints instead of understanding, you get frustration instead of help, you get the expectation that you'll be back to normal soon. Tell me something honestly. When was the last time you felt truly rested? Not just physically, but in your soul. When was the last time you woke up without that heavy weight already on your chest? I'm guessing you can't remember. I'm guessing it's been so long that you've forgotten what rest even feels like. Because being a woman means carrying weight nobody else sees. It means doing work nobody else acknowledges. It means being tired in a way nobody else understands. And then being told you should just take a bubble bath and practice more self-care, as if a face mask could fix systemic exhaustion. Psychology calls it the invisible mental load, that constant tracking, remembering, planning, anticipating that women do automatically and unconsciously, endlessly. It's like running a marathon in your mind while everyone else thinks you're just standing still. And here's what nobody tells you. This tiredness isn't your fault. It's not because you're not strong enough. It's not because you're not capable enough. It's not because you're doing something wrong. It's because the world expects the impossible from women, and then acts surprised when we're exhausted. You're expected to work like you don't have children, and parent like you don't have a job. You're expected to look effortlessly beautiful, while putting in constant effort that you're not supposed to acknowledge. You're expected to be everyone's emotional support, while never burdening anyone with your own emotions. You're expected to give and give and give, and then somehow also have enough left for yourself. But how? How are you supposed to have anything left when you've given it all away? The answer is, you don't. You run on empty. You push through exhaustion. You fake it. You smile. You say you're fine. You keep going, because that's what women do. That's what you've been taught. That's what's expected. Until one day you can't anymore. Until one day your body forces you to stop. Until one day the exhaustion wins. And even then, even when you're completely depleted, you feel guilty. Guilty for not being able to do more. Guilty for needing rest. Guilty for being human with human limitations. Because women aren't allowed to be tired. Not really. Not without judgment. Not without being called dramatic or lazy or not good enough. Men can be tired and everyone understands. But women are supposed to just handle it. Just push through. Just be strong. Just keep going. Forever. Do you feel that? That pressure to never stop? That fear of what will happen if you do? That's not strength they're asking for. That's superhuman, and you're not superhuman. You're just human, beautifully, messily, imperfectly human, with limits, with needs, with a body and mind that need rest to survive. Being a woman shouldn't mean being tired all the time, but somehow it does. Somewhere along the way, exhaustion became part of the female experience. Something we just accept, something we just endure, something we don't even question anymore. But maybe it's time to question it. Maybe it's time to ask why. Maybe it's time to stop accepting exhaustion as the price of being female. Because you deserve better than this. You deserve to wake up feeling rested. You deserve to have energy for yourself. You deserve a life that doesn't drain you completely just from existing. Let's talk about something nobody mentions. The difference between tired and soul tired. Tired is when you've had a long day. Soul tired is when you've had a long life of putting yourself last. Tired is fixed by sleep. Soul tired is fixed by rest that you're not allowed to take. By support you're not receiving, by recognition you're not getting, by a fundamental shift in how much weight you're carrying alone. You can sleep 8 hours and still wake up soul tired, because soul tired isn't about your body. It's about your spirit slowly dimming under the weight of invisible expectations. It's about years of your needs coming last, years of being everything for everyone, years of sacrificing yourself and calling it love, years of pushing past your limits because that's what good women do, years of carrying weight that nobody else even sees. And then society tells you you just need better self-care, as if a yoga class could fix structural inequality, as if a spa day could cure years of systemic undervaluing, as if you're tired because you're not taking care of yourself, not because you're taking care of everyone else first. The real problem isn't that women don't rest enough. The real problem is that women do not have the option to rest, because even when you stop moving, your mind doesn't stop working. The mental load doesn't pause. The responsibilities don't disappear. The guilt doesn't go away. When was the last time you rested without feeling guilty about it? When was the last time you took time for yourself without someone making you feel selfish? When was the last time you put yourself first without it feeling wrong? That guilt you feel, that's not natural. That's taught, that's trained. That's years of being told that your value comes from what you do for others, not from simply being yourself. Little girls are taught to help, to nurture, to put others first. Little boys are taught to play, to explore, to focus on themselves. And these patterns follow us into adulthood. Women learn to make themselves smaller so others can be bigger, to silence their needs so others' needs can be heard, to disappear into the background of their own lives. Psychology calls it gender socialization, the invisible training that teaches women to prioritize everyone else above themselves, to feel guilty for having needs, to apologize for taking up space, to make themselves endlessly available to others while never asking for anything back. And the thing is, you do not even realize you are doing it. It feels natural because it's all you've ever known. It feels right because it's what you were taught. It feels necessary because everyone depends on you. But it's not natural. It's not right. It's not necessary. It's just familiar. And familiar doesn't mean healthy. Can you remember who you were before all the responsibilities? Before all the roles you had to play? Before you became the person everyone depends on but nobody takes care of? Can you remember what you liked? What made you laugh? What dreams you had before they got buried under everyone else's needs? Or have you been gone so long that you can't remember anymore? That's what this exhaustion really is. It's not just about being tired. It is grief. Grief for the version of yourself you lost along the way. Grief for the life you thought you'd have. Grief for the energy you used to feel. Grief for the dreams you had to let go. And underneath the grief, there's anger. Quiet anger. Polite anger. Suppressed anger. The kind of anger that good women aren't supposed to feel. But it's there, simmering, building. That resentment of doing everything and having nobody notice, of giving everything and getting nothing back, of sacrificing yourself and having it be expected, not appreciated. But you feel guilty about the anger too, because you love your family, you love your life. So why are you angry? What's wrong with you? Nothing. Nothing is wrong with you. Your anger is reasonable. Your resentment is valid. Your frustration makes perfect sense. Because you're giving more than you're receiving. You're doing more than your share. You're carrying weight that should be distributed but isn't. And pretending you're not angry doesn't make the anger go away. It just makes it turn inward, into anxiety, into depression, into physical illness, into exhaustion that no amount of sleep can fix. Your body keeps score. Your body remembers every time you pushed past your limits, Every time you said yes when you meant no. Every time you gave when you had nothing left. Every time you smiled through the exhaustion. And eventually your body says enough. Eventually your body forces you to stop. Not because you're weak, but because you're human. And humans need rest to survive. If this is resonating with you, if you're feeling seen for maybe the first time, stay here. This is a safe space. A space for tired women, for overwhelmed women, for women who are exhausted from being everything for everyone. You're not alone here. You're not too much here. You're understood here, and you do not have to pretend to be okay when you're not. Here's what makes it worse. The complete invisibility of everything you do. Not only are you carrying all this weight, not only are you exhausted beyond measure, but nobody even sees it. Nobody acknowledges it. It's just expected, just normal, just what women do. Think about your day. How many things do you do that nobody notices unless you do not do them? How many tasks are invisible until they're left undone? How many mental notes are you tracking that nobody else even knows exist? You remember everyone's schedules? You notice when supplies are running low? You see what needs to be done before anyone else does? You're managing an entire household, an entire family, an entire life. And because you do it well, everyone thinks it just happens by itself. But nothing just happens. You happen, you make it happen. Every single day. And nobody sees. Until you can't, until you are sick, until you are away, until you need help. And suddenly, the house falls apart. Suddenly, everyone realizes how much you were doing. But instead of gratitude, you get chaos. Instead of appreciation, you get complaints that things aren't running smoothly without you. Have you experienced this? Have you been sick or away and come back to find everything in disarray? Have you tried to explain what you do only to be told you're exaggerating? This invisibility isn't an accident. It's by design. Society has normalized women's domestic and emotional labor to the point where it's not even recognized as labor. It's just seen as what women naturally do, what women are supposed to do, what mothers, wives, daughters should be grateful to be able to do. But managing a household is a full-time job. Being everyone's emotional center is exhausting. Tracking everything and everyone is real work, mental work, invisible work, unpaid work, unappreciated work. Psychology calls this the second shift. Women work their jobs, then come home to work another full shift. While men work their jobs and come home to relax, this isn't about individual bad partners. This is about a systemic problem that nobody wants to address. And when women point this out, when women show the data, share the statistics, try to have conversations about fairness, they are shut down. Told they're being divisive, told marriage isn't about keeping score, told to stop complaining and just be grateful. But asking for equality isn't keeping score. Wanting partnership isn't complaining. Expecting someone to actually be your partner isn't unreasonable. It's asking for basic fairness, basic respect, basic recognition that you're a human being with limits. And when you do try to get help, when you try to redistribute the load, you often end up just managing that help too. Being told to just tell me what to do, as if you're the manager and everyone else is just an employee waiting for instructions. But that's not help, that's just another job for you. The job of managing everyone else's participation in the household. Real help would be someone seeing what needs to be done and doing it. Real partnership would be sharing the mental load, not just the tasks. Are you exhausted from managing everyone else's help? From explaining everything? From following up to make sure things get done? So that it's easier to just do it yourself? That's called weaponized incompetence. When someone acts like they don't know how to do something, so you'll stop asking and just do it yourself. It's a way of avoiding responsibility while pretending to be willing. And it works, because eventually you give up asking. Eventually you just do everything yourself. Eventually you accept that this is just how it is. But it doesn't have to be. This exhaustion isn't inevitable. This imbalance isn't natural. This is a choice. A choice about how to value women's time and women's work, and choices can change. Your exhaustion is telling you something. It's telling you that something's wrong, that something needs to shift, that you can't keep living like this. Not because you are weak, but because what you're doing is unsustainable. For anyone, for everyone. So what do you do? How do you change something this big? How do you shift patterns that have been in place for years? For generations? You start small. You start with permission. Permission to be tired. Permission to rest. Permission to admit you can't do it all. Permission to be human. Because right now you're waiting for someone to notice, waiting for someone to see how exhausted you are, and step in to help. Waiting for things to magically get better on their own. But nobody's coming to save you. Nobody's going to notice you are drowning unless you tell them. And even then, they might not believe you, might not understand, might not change, so you have to save yourself, and that starts with being honest, not dramatic. Not guilt-tripping, just honest. I'm exhausted, I can't keep doing everything, something needs to change. Simple, clear, true. And yes, people will push back. People who are comfortable with you doing everything won't like the change. They'll resist. They'll make you feel guilty. They'll tell you you're being unreasonable. Stand firm anyway, because your exhaustion is reasonable. Your need for help is reasonable. Your desire to not be tired all the time is reasonable. What's unreasonable is expecting one person to do the work of three and never complain. What's one thing you could stop doing? What's one task you could let go? What's one boundary you could set? It doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be a start. Because every change starts with one small step, one small choice, one small moment of choosing yourself. Maybe it is saying no without explaining why. Maybe it is letting the dishes sit overnight. Maybe it is asking for specific help instead of general help. Maybe it's letting something be done imperfectly instead of doing it yourself. Whatever it is, start there, start small, start today. And know this, change is uncomfortable, setting boundaries is uncomfortable, disappointing people is uncomfortable. But you know what else is uncomfortable? Being exhausted all the time, so choose your uncomfortable. Choose the uncomfortable that leads somewhere better. Choose the uncomfortable that respects you as a human being. Choose the uncomfortable that might be hard now, but saves your life later, because you matter. Your rest matters. Your well-being matters. Your life matters. And if the people around you can't see that, can't respect that, can't change for that, then maybe you need to make different choices about who gets your energy. You don't have to do it all to be worthy. You don't have to be perfect to deserve rest. You don't have to sacrifice yourself to be loved. You just have to be you, tired and all, human and all, imperfect and all. We're almost at the end, and I need to leave you with something important. Hope, not the toxic positivity kind, not the just think positive kind, but the real, honest, hard-earned kind. The kind that says, you can feel this way and still be okay. You can be exhausted and still be enough. You can admit you are struggling and still be strong. Being a woman doesn't have to mean being tired all the time. That's not biology, that's not nature. That's a choice society made. And what's been chosen can be unchosen, not easily, not quickly. But it can change. And that change starts with you. Not because it's your fault, but because you're the only one who can change your own life. You're the only one who can decide that enough is enough. You're the only one who can choose rest over guilt, you over everyone else, your peace over their comfort. Tell me one last time, what's one thing you're going to do differently? What's one boundary you're going to set? What's one way you're going to choose yourself? Because you're stronger than you know. You've been strong enough to carry all this for all this time. You've been strong enough to keep going when you're exhausted. Now it's time to be strong enough to stop, strong enough to rest, strong enough to choose you. Psychology shows us that burnout isn't about not being strong enough. It's about being in an unsustainable situation for too long. The solution isn't to become stronger. The solution is to change the situation. So what changes? You do, not by becoming someone else, but by becoming more yourself, by remembering who you are beneath all the roles, by reclaiming the parts of yourself you gave away, by choosing rest without guilt, by demanding better. And yes, this is hard. Yes, people will resist. Yes, you'll feel uncomfortable. But you know what? Being tired all the time is hard too. So choose your hard. If this conversation has touched you, if you've felt seen here, if you've realized you're not alone in this exhaustion, then stay, subscribe to this channel, turn on notifications, share this with other tired women who need to hear it. Because there are millions of us, millions of women who are just as tired as you are, who are carrying just as much weight, who are struggling just as much. And together, we're not so alone. Together, we can change this. Together, We can create a world where being a woman doesn't automatically mean being exhausted. Leave a comment. Tell me what you're going to do differently. Tell me what boundary you're setting. Tell me how you're choosing yourself. Because I want to know. I want to celebrate with you. I want to be here as you start this journey. And let me tell you one last thing. The most important thing, you don't have to do it all to be enough. You don't have to be perfect to be worthy. You don't have to exhaust yourself to deserve love. You just have to be you. Tired and all, struggling and all, imperfect and all, human and all. And because you've always been enough, you just forgot. Somewhere along the way, in the midst of being everything for everyone, you forgot that you matter too, that your rest matters, that your peace matters, that your life matters. So remember, starting today, starting now, remember that you're worth fighting for. Remember that you deserve better. Remember that being tired all the time isn't a character flaw. It's evidence of how much you've been carrying, proof of how hard you've been trying, a signal that something needs to change. You don't have to be tired all the time just because you're a woman. That's not your destiny, that's not your fate. That's just what you've been taught to accept. But you don't have to accept it anymore. You can choose differently. You can live differently. You can rest without guilt. You can exist without constantly producing. You can just be, without having to do anything for anyone. That life is possible. It won't be easy. It won't happen overnight. But it is possible. And you deserve it. You've always deserved it. So take a breath. Feel that exhaustion you're carrying. Acknowledge it. Validate it. And then decide. Decide that you're done accepting the unacceptable. Decide that you're going to rest. Decide that you're going to choose yourself. Decide that you matter. And then take one small step, whatever it is. However small, take it. And then another and another. Until slowly, gradually, you build a life that doesn't leave you exhausted just from existing. You've got this. And I've got you. This community has got you. You're not alone. You're not too much. You're exactly enough. Welcome home to yourself.